parental disapproval. Is it enough to say, to let go no matter the love involved?
Well, that's a very, very sensitive topic, and I'm very happy this came up. So, parental disapproval for me should not be a very strong reason to call off a wedding. But if this drops on the ears of two grown adults who are matured and are emotionally intelligent, you should be able to decipher reasons behind the disapproval. Go in for counseling and understand beyond the surface why your parents are disapproving. Why? Because your parents are the God we see. God cannot come down from heaven. If he comes down and starts shaking this roof, I'm sure Lawrence, you will run away. But if your parent comes here and they speak to you and tell you things, because you're a child who listens and understands and obeys your parent, you will reason as an adult and then understand why and where is this coming from. And then so many times, I can tell you, sir, from experience, that a lot of marriages whose approval didn't come correctly or completely, or whose parental disapproval, were challenged by these couples, most of them didn't end well. Because they are the God that we see. God can speak to us through different mediums.
So you're saying you seem to be saying if the parent disapproves,
if they disapprove because of safety, if they disapprove because of your psychological well-being, if they disapprove because they know that your future is not good.
What if safety in this situation is personal and selfish? Because a mom may look at you and say, this guy doesn't have money, then you are insisting you want to marry him. What did you even see in him? That's safety.
That's safety, but it might also be beyond financial safety. There must be something. There may be something more.
What if it's cultural?
If it is cultural, that's what I said. You must be able, as adults, grown adults, be able to look beyond the surface. This culture, will it make my life better? Or will it enslave me? Will it take my freedom as a human and as a person? Or will it totally give me the wings to fly and become a better person? I've met with couples where, and one of this testimony is a testimony of, let me not mention name, one of the ministers, a gospel music minister. I recall the father of the girl, his wife, was the one sharing this testimony. That when the said gospel minister came to ask for the hand of his daughter in marriage, he kept sending the guy away with all authority and everything because he didn't see a future. But the fact that the guy had courage and confidence and had people around him, especially the person who followed him for the introduction to come and see him, he said, with that man, if he knows this person, his network has upgraded his net worth. But as at that time, he did not have. And so when he was sharing this testimony, this gospel minister
was already a star.
And so he stood to say, I said that because that's a father and you cannot fault him. I cannot give birth to a child.
So the emotional standard of your parents also matters in the choice.
That's why I say you need to look beyond the surface. You understand? Beyond the surface.
Okay. Yes. Beyond the surface. I'll take that as the point for that. But I have another question for you, which I think most men has come up on social media to cry out, right? On what base should a woman deny her husband sex? Is there any point? Is there a time or a situation that should make a woman deny her husband sex?
I like to run away and shy away from these questions because it's a very personal.
Yeah, I get
it's a very personal thing to deal with. Understanding that marriage is the union between two people, two grown adults who have got shared values and shared goals, coming in together as grown adults to form a partnership that will work for them.
Yeah.
We must understand that sexual intimacy is part of it. You understand? Biblically, yes. For those of us who are Christians, and I understand is also a standard set for our other religion. And so grounds on which a woman should deny her husband sexual intimacy, for me, it's a very personal one. I do not think that there is an ethical ground or stand on which any woman, I do not think there is an ethical ground on which any woman should deny her husband sexual intimacy. However, a woman has got all the rights to say no to sex if she is being enslaved, if she's being maltreated. I cannot, for my imagination in the entire world, imagine how a woman will psychologically and emotionally fit into sexual intimacy after he man has physically abused you. But does that go on? Yes, there are men who beat up their wives, and the next thing, immediately, they don't just want sex, they want rape. They go straight into raping. Oh, yes. Yes. Sexual intimacy.
You mean a husband can rape the wife?
So, what is rape?
Yeah.
Rape is having sexual consent or intimacy with a woman without the other person's consent. That's when it is.
Does the husband need the wife's consent to,
yes,
to have sexual intimacy?
Because I feel it's a yes, because this woman is a human, an adult, and not a toy. There are instances where, for instance, the woman is so tired. And this was from my pastor, one of my pastors in my former church, where he was talking about marriage as a dead as a married woman. We had marriage seminar or something I can't really pick what it was. And then I recall this question came up, and the man came, was our pastor, and he said, "Men and brethren, there are times my wife you see here will say she's tired." It means he asks for consent for him to know that the woman is tired. He did not just go in and just drag and pull. No. He said the woman said she was tired, and just asked, "Can I just sleep and rest?" And he said, "Men and brethren, your spirit tongue speaking pastor could not sleep, because that part of me doesn't understand the Bible. I waited till she slept and woke up by herself, and then came." So it means that consent should always be part of the agreement and to shared responsibility.
Okay.
Do you understand? We are all humans and we are wired differently. But you also understanding that is one of your partnership roles to play as a partner. So
already you have established that there are no grounds for a woman to deny sex except
when it becomes a threat to life.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Well, we've been having a great time with Madam Roslyn here in the studio, and I tell you, she is, I think now I can grade her one of the top therapists I have met, because she's really doing justice to what we're discussing here in the studio. We'll take this break, and then we'll be right back. Thank you. Thank you for staying tuned. I hope you're enjoying the section. We're talking marriage, relationship, domestic violence. I hope you're not violent. You that guy. And post-marital situations. And follow us, please. Subscribe to our social media platform, Black Giant Podcasts. Drop a comment, ask a question. I believe we can always reach out to Madam Roslyn for counseling and all that. And in case you're going through one of the situations discussed here, she is always available to give you a listening here. So Madam Roslyn, that brings us to our next question. Should a husband, for instance, request that the wife stops her career if at all the marriage will ever exist? What would you advise?
So, as grown adults, we are coming in as
you're always coming up with as grown adults.
As grown adults, we are coming in as partners. As grown adults, it means that both parties understand that we are, apart from becoming couples, we also have a personal life. We have dreams and aspirations, and so these are things we need to discuss and talk about before marriage. That's why it's a union between two grown partners, two grown adults who are coming in as partners with shared values and with shared goals. So part of your goals will be, my 9 to 5 will not in any way affect the life of this marriage, but rather will complement our growth. The same thing for the other party. It means there's going to be a work-life balance where you are able to embrace your work and also embrace your marriage purpose. So especially if you cannot even manage work life and marriage well, what about when the children comes in? Parenting is a whole lot. I remember one of those days just telling my mom that I was never given a manual as a parent. I didn't know it was this tasky, especially parenting as a single parent. It's such a humongous job. You understand? So if you are not able to strike work balance, what are you there for?
So what's
a lot of sacrifices would need to come into play at this point. So on what grounds is the man asking the woman to leave? I hope it is not on the grounds of dominance, control. Is it because he's a man, and so because you've gotten married to me and you've known me, you do not have a life?
What if it has to do with trust issues? Or?
If it has to do with trust issue, where is that coming from? Does he have a challenge with trust? Is it a foreplay of his trauma that he has gotten from past relationship? Is he as a reason of realities on ground where he has caught her cheating? So we need to juxtapose reasons behind all of this.
What if it's a case where attention is needed at home?
Fantastic. If it is on a case of attention, then the woman has a whole lot to do. You need to now strike a balance between securing, saving your shared partnership as a grown adult with your personal life. In partnership, it's a win-win situation that you're striving for. It's a give and take. And so you cannot be denying the man intimacy. What again did you talk about?
We're on
shared moments and
career. I mean, doing away with your career just to make sure the home works.
Because the man is lacking, having attention. You understand? You cannot be denying your man attention. Who does that? Why is he married? He needs that attention. So what were the bases? That's why marriage is a partnership.
So it should be discussed.
It should be discussed. I do not think allow me to use a human with a being. If your emotions are still intact and your thought pattern reasons and processes things well, because you also need attention, you should not be denying the other person attention because of career.
Yeah. Okay.
So if it is on that basis, the woman will have to sit down, talk to herself, and choose between. Or else you're going to lose that marriage or lose that man.
You've made your point
Yes.
quite clear. Thank you for that answer you've given. Now, interreligious marriage. We have seen so many situations. We have different kind of religion, but majorly Christianity, the Muslim, and then pagan. Let's use that generally. Are you in support of interreligious marriage?
Okay, so I will be answering this question as a therapist and as a professional and not as a person.
Okay.
I guess, and I think that when different people of different religion come together with understanding as adults, grown adults, and then they are able to look beyond their religion to understand that communication and setting goals and rules to know that, see, when I give birth, which church or which religion should our children practice? And then there's an understanding as grown adults.
Whether or not they will remain in their religion or not.
That marriage will work.
So what is the case where all of a sudden the man or the woman is saying you cannot continue practicing?
That is not a grown adult. Because as a grown adult, when
you keep to your word.
Keep to your word. Your promises are your bond.
So what should happen at that point?
At that point, there should be counseling. There should be third-party involvement to help the situation, because there must be something that man is missing. But if you have sat down together and had an agreement on which religion the children follows, as I am coming in, am I going to be allowed to practice my own religion while you practice? I've worked with a boss who is a Christian and was married. No, he's Muslim. I was married to a Christian. The wife is a pastor. And she still goes to church. When it's time for Muslim celebrations, the entire family
celebrates that.
Celebrate that, and we all go home and we eat salad meat. They even send us salami to the house. My boss we send it through
DHS.
Not courier. What is it called now? what's this motorbike for boats now? What are they called? Dispatch riders. Do you understand? And there was this time for the Christians. Oh, the woman sends, calls us home. We go to the house. And the family, they live, they are grandparents now. The woman still practice. These are grown adults who understand partnership and understands agreements. So it will work perfectly because you know your boundaries. You've set your boundaries. The children, they didn't force any religion on their children. The man just said, be taking them. I don't go to mosque every day. It's only on Fridays, and most times he's not the typical Muslim.
So the children are to decide what religion.
So when they were children, they follow their parents. But when they grew up, they choose. Out of the entire 5, I think it's just one of them that is practicing Muslim and practicing Muslim Islam faith. The others are practicing Christians, and they're not even in the country. But they all celebrate both religion because they are parents from grown partners who understand agreements. So this will work. Life is not difficult. It is we who are difficult.
Yeah, it is human beings.
Understand?
Yeah.
You understand that your God is your God, and my God is my God. None is inferior. When you have that understanding and that agreement, and there are certain things that you both understand. This other person says, on the day we are doing naming, we will have the
Muslims and we'll have the Christians.
Life is not difficult.
I get that.
And so when it was time for naming, there are Christian names, there are Muslim names. What name are they going to be bearing
at the end of the day?
Does
it matter who gives the name? Is it a man's team? Do you think it's a man's team?
So for me, I feel, for example, I'm no more in that marriage, but I understand that this is a partnership business. And so when I gave birth, before I gave birth, I'm a researcher. I did a lot of research, especially with situations that surrounded that pregnancy. And I brought out names. I didn't enforce it. I was asked by the father of the child when it was time for naming, what names? And I presented, and when I presented, I said, oh, what are the meanings of these names? And I told him, and he said, at the naming, after the naming, this your own name is better because of the meaning. So my children all bears
communication.
Communication is partnership. And so when I left the marriage, I left with the second pregnancy out of violence and all of that to secure my life and that of the unborn child. When it was time for naming, he had already named the baby while I was still pregnant. I was still in the marriage, and he calls that child a particular name. So I picked that name.
That was a name you gave the child.
That's the name the boy appeared.
Yes,
but because the English name, like the first child, was what he accepted, I picked an English name, which I know. When he asked and called, and I said, oh, it even sounds to be very funny. He said, it sounds singular and plural. Oh, that's very sweet. It's the same alphabet, starts with the same alphabet, and sounds are like, oh, that's fantastic. Let him bear that name. That's an agreement.
Okay, that's an agreement, making sense already. Now we've been talking about issues in marriage here and there, and you know this things starts from making a decision even before marriage, during relationship. Now, what are those warning signals that young ladies, young guys out there should take note of while making a decision in marriage? Maybe just 1, 2, 3, and then we'll be done with that.
Controlling behavior. When you meet a man who has a dominant controlling behavior, what is controlling behavior? By act where a man or a woman does not allow the other person express his or herself and does not view other people's opinion and just wants everything me.
Is a warning signal.
Is a warning. Is a red flag. Another is anger mismanagement. How does he express his dislike and disapproval? How does he process information? Does he react or respond? If he reacts or she reacts and not respond, reaction means you exploded. Response means you pause, process, and you answer. But reactions comes with explosions. There's a problem. That's a red flag. What are the modalities for conflict resolution? Does he calls for communication, or he just goes and gives that silence attitude where he doesn't pick calls, is not available anymore, and he just gives you emotional shutdown? Do you understand? That's a red flag. That's someone who is not matured enough, cannot handle marriage, because a lot of crises will come up. You're from different backgrounds, different culture, different understanding of life, exposure, education, family.
That's true.
You understand? Your level of maturity and reasoning. So he must be able to, manage crisis better. That's a red flag if he doesn't know how to manage or have a poor conflict resolution.
Nice. So those are red flags already.
Major
So one
red flags.
should consider.
Does it feel that because you're a woman, you should be a tool of sexual satisfaction and not a human that should be supported to pursue or achieve your dreams?
Those
Does
are
it
red flags.
stereotype? Does it belong to the patriarchy system where women don't speak where men are? Does not give you opportunity to grow because you're a woman. He wants your voice silent.
Yeah, those are red flags.
Those are terrible red flags that you don't just run. Book a flight and fly.
She said you should book a flight
Just fly.
and fly.
Don't
Wow.
ignore, because for some of us we ignored them and we spiritualized them and went.
Spiritualize them.
No, you don't spiritualize them.
You can't pray that off.
You can't pray it off.
You mean you cannot pray off red flags?
Cannot pray off red flag. You can only go through a process of therapy, counseling, and intentionality from the individual to want to outgrow it.
Thank you. I think that answers the question already. Now, my next question. Do you think that sponsoring a girl in school is a good investment for marriage?
I feel that at this age and time, when people still talk about that, it gets me baffled. A child is a child regardless of the gender.
No, I'm not talking about a child now. Sponsoring
It's the
a
same
girlfriend
thing. Yes.
or so.
So, what is love? First of all, let's start from there. What is love? For me, love is an intentional act to express how I feel about your progress, how I feel and I'm driven towards your growth, what I want to see about you. Support. It's an action word. Love is an action word. It's a verb.
So are you saying yes, it is a good
Yes.
investment?
If the both of you are grown adults who have agreed to a partnership.
Now, yes, you always go towards
Because
agreements.
that's the reason why.
But at the end of the day, most times it doesn't end up that
Because-
way. So
sometimes you do not have a control
over what happens.
Over
after
what
then.
happens
Is that not a good reason
by an
why
ad-
it's not
by
a
an
good
adult.
investment?
But I have also seen a lot of couples who still end up together after the woman was trained, and this woman not just comes back, pays accolades, gives that accolades and gives that respect to that man everywhere she goes. That's a grown adult that understands partnership. That's a human being that has a being still intact and understands what compassion.
So
and love
you're just saying it's like a business now. There's a risk, so anything could actually
It
happen.
is.
Just invest.
Just invest. Just invest. Because if you're lucky, it pays you more.
Of course, if you're lucky.
There's a saying that when you train a woman, you have trained a nation. If your wife is educated, go to bed and sleep as a man, because you know she's going to give birth to children who would love school. She's the one who wakes up in the morning and bathes and prepares, because she understands the value of education. But the one who doesn't understand the value of, who doesn't understand education, who doesn't understand the value, will be the one nagging.
So when you do all of that investment and it finally doesn't go the way you expected, what
So
happens?
as a businesswoman, before you go into such investment, you sit down and have a plan. You sit down and also make inquiries, do research. How do you do research? Have conversations and communication with this person. Check out in their family, those who were trained, did they end up marrying those persons, or they ended up becoming gold diggers? Do all of those local things that our parents, our forefathers were doing those days. They don't do them anymore here, and I subscribe to it. Like going to understand how patterns have developed in such a family. So go and check, make inquiries,
Okay.
find out.
Make
Yes.
inquiries, and that would help. Okay. Now, during our discussion and all of that, you kept talking about partnership. So would you say that in marriage, men and women are equal?
As partners, it means a man and a woman are equal in marriage.
Okay.
As partners. That's what defines what true partnership means. Irrespective of the gender, both of you are equal. You come in with all your assets together to grow and to make sure that your partnership works and you're able to achieve your goals and your shared values. However, as Africans, and I am never oblivious of this patriarchy system, that brings dominance on women because they are men, and you truly do not blame them. That's how they grew. That's the structure they were modeled from. And so as Africans, every woman should understand, an African woman should understand that male and female are equal in the eyes of God. Male and female are equal in the institution called marriage. You understand? Okay. Just the way God instituted it. But in the institution called marriage in Africa,
so it's a continental thing now.
So the fact that culture plays into it as an African person, you need to acknowledge that, but do not allow it pull you down or run you down.
Okay.
You just make sure that the man you're getting married to is self-aware and understand what partnership. That's why I keep saying that we should come in as partners.
Now we are coming towards the end of this section, but you kept talking partnership, and I like the fact that you've been consistent with that. But most women recently don't want to bear the name of their husband. They still want to retain their son name, the name of their father. Do you have a problem with that?
I do not have a problem with that. You know why? There are always reasons for why people do what they do. And so if these reasons are attainable, if you explore them, please allow them. I'm an individual. I'm a complete human before marriage. I existed before I met you. And so you want to ask me why? If there are reasons, and then I express them in a way that convinces you enough, and if I'm unable to convince you, please let me seek for advice from other people. Or I do not think that getting married
should automatically change the name of.
It's a partnership. So when there's an agreement and you understand through communication, allow this woman be. For instance, there was a case that came to me, and then the man kept saying no. And each time this woman wants to explain, she will not. Those parents were not her biological parents. They were her foster parents, and they never had any other child. She was adopted. And so for legacy, she decided not to change that name, because those children, she was the first. They adopted other children, but she's their first adopted child.
But do you think that should be stretched? Once the man says no concerning that, don't you think it should just put an end to?
So it also depends on your level of understanding. If you say no as a man, and I'm insisting on yes, what if you turn the table around? How would you feel? Sit in my shoe and sit on my seat and wear my shoes. That's what I feel should take place. Do you understand? Yeah. So until this man gave this woman listening ears, and the woman went home to tell her parents, the parents called and they explained. The parents were not standing with the child. They asked her to change, and she said, for legacy.
She insisted it's going to.
You understand? So what is wrong in it? Your children will bear your name. If this woman is just trying to, create a legacy that nature couldn't give this parent, what if it was you?
Now, my last question. Do men also face one or two kind of violence? I know it's not just domestic violence that exists. Do men also face some form of violence in marriage?
Thank you for this question. I've been looking forward to this question. You know why? The lack of talking about it is what is killing a lot of our men. A lot of men go through violence, not just physical violence, emotional torture, psychological, financial. A lot of men go through this. But you know why he's not out there? Because the patriarchy system and patterns of training our men and boys not to talk, not to scream, not to express their pain, and not to share when a woman is, beginning to humiliate them, beginning to do all sort of things that is not supposed to. We train them not to speak. Then societal shame. We shame these men when they do come out to speak. I don't want to mention names right now with online issues and all of that, dragging here and there. But truth is, a lot of our men go through so much of abuse from their spouses. And recently, they don't just go through this form of abuses by their spouses alone. Their in-laws, the wife's in-laws, gathers together and abuses them. You cannot believe that a woman beats his wife, and the sisters come and the brothers.
The woman beats
the woman beats the husband, and the sisters and the brothers join forces together and still beats this guy. Now, does this guy look like a weakling? You mean this guy cannot beat this woman?
Probably he already had a decision.
He was not trained like that. And so because he has that training and understanding that you don't lay your hands on
a woman.
And then he, using his words, he overloves the wife so much that he cannot do without her. The woman took advantage. So these men are going through a lot. But our society is not allowing men to speak about it because of the public shame. And
but would you say that could or may have led to the reason, because they are harboring a lot of things inside, and like you said, emotional violence and all that. Could that be the reason why they resort to domestic violence on their wife?
Of course. Like I gave that analogy with other questions. When a man bottles up so much, I'm not a man, but a therapist who speaks to a lot of men. When these men bottle up so much, there's a point they get to, they call it break points or boiling points. And once they cannot take it anymore, the next thing is an explosion.
Oh, well, you've made your point. Because of our time, I wouldn't want to drag. Then we'll just end this podcast with the situation, the recent trend. Our podcast usually bring in trends to end the show. The recent trend between Frank, the Chike, and Frank's wife. You have heard the story. You understood what played out. Frank said he's a professional in malice. They are holding on to that. He said that himself. The wife had something to do with Chike, the musician, and she's using that as an excuse and all that. Now, for everything that played out, looking at that saga, did you take a stand, and what's your take?
So my take on that story is very simple. These two people were not grown adults and they didn't come into that relationship as partners. Because if you came into that relationship as partners and as grown adults, how dare you live with a wife and keep malice for months? How? What are you psychologically doing to that woman? The lack of communication as a major alternative to violence.
But what if something led to that silence?
Regardless of whatever led to that silence, is not enough for a no ground for conflict resolution. That totally expressed the lack of emotional intelligence, lack of conflict resolution management, anger management, immaturity. Come on, you are the head.
Are you now saying it's enough reason for?
It's not reason. That's what I'm saying. This for me, from my point of view, it was not an agreement. For heaven's sake, as long as you have dotted that lines of yes, I do. Before God, even if you didn't go to church, before the gods of the land, traditionally, you are only obliged to that man, regardless of whatever happens, except until after a divorce.
So you're saying both of them has no excuse for the silence
tenable,
and for the infidelity?
No excuse tenable. As a married woman, you have no right under the heavens, except for what the Bible calls infidelity, to walk out of the marriage. But the Bible did not say you should repay infidelity with infidelity. The Bible does not also stand with divorce. But I also know that my God does not hate divorce people. When it comes to a point where your emotional well-being is at stake, your health, your safety, and all of that, and then you walk away. But there's no ground tenable for infidelity married from a woman or a man. Just as there's no grounds tenable
for malice or silence.
Well, come on, not matured, if you're matured as an adult, sit your woman down. You should be able to get her love language and play her card and get her speaking. The same way with the woman should be able to understand your man's love language, get that game on, play his card and get him speaking. But as a man, first of all, you need to first of all understand your place as a priest in the home, as a leader, as the head. Oh, now you want to turn the table round? I thought with the patriarchy system, you are the man. So why don't you take the lead and end whatever resolution it was?
And end whatever resolution it was. Well, Madam Rosalind, it's been a very wonderful section with you, and there's a whole lot to talk about. And I think the next time we'll be meeting, we'll be talking about the girl child. It's something I, as a person, I have had a long time studies on that. Even my project in school was on the girl child. Even my first movie was also on the girl child. So I am very concerned about that. And I want us to have a second talk on that topic when we have the opportunity to, be here the next time. So thank you so much. Thank you.
So much, thank you.
This edition is so sweet and smooth because it's coming from a place of knowledge and
Experience.
I'm sure that an experience. I purposely didn't want to go personal today, but I think a time will come I would. My usual style in podcast is to get you off the seat by going personal. But you had a lot to say about certain things already outlined here. So yeah, kudos. Thank you so much. And to our audience watching, I am sure you enjoyed this section. You have questions you want to ask, please drop the questions, share this post, follow us on all social media on Black Giant Podcasts, and of course subscribe please to Black Giant Podcast on YouTube. Follow me also. My name is Okwe Lawrence Okwe, and my guest, I'm sure you're on social media also. What's your name on social media?
Roslyn E. Okon.
Roslyn E. Okon.
Yeah.
On Instagram, you're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook. That's Roslyn E. Jeremiah.
All right. So please follow her also and get more tips on how to sustain your home. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of the Black Giant Podcast. See, we'll meet again sometime later.